Welcome back to Sushimi's House. I'm your loving host, Master Sushimi, joined today by my sweet sibling, Ice Ice Bubbie.
Hello.
And we are back with some more Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It's getting hot up in this piece.
It's getting hot in here. Don't take off all your clothes.
Hey, Bubbie, what year is it?
I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh,
Take my clothes off.
there it is. Without fail. I know because I also suffer from the same problem.
Which is singing old ass songs.
Specifically that one, but yeah.
I feel like Marcy did that to me.
No, our cousin did that to us.
What? Which one?
Danielle?
Well, okay, let me clarify. She must have done it, but then Marcy made it worse. I'm so glad you did that. That's honestly a blessing to me when you do that. You gotta get in there.
Yeah, it seems like this is actually like a
side
secret
one,
thing.
yeah.
Sorry, y'all. Like, this level's kind of overwhelming, if I'm being honest.
A little bit. It's a little much. Not in like a bad way, but like not what we're used to. Oh my god.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, and fuck. My little leggies. I'm Kirby, and I got little leggies.
Deal with it.
Deal with it. I'm
Oh, but yeah,
I'm the Kirby. Gotta love me.
We were talking about our show watching habits.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we like to have a treat, usually ice cream of some kind.
Yeah.
But recently, our shared friend Damien got Bubbie into frozen mochi.
Yeah.
And by extension, I also got into frozen mochi.
Yeah, like
Really into frozen mochi.
he showed it to me, which made me show it to Sush. And it's a problem now.
Yeah, man, here we are now, addicts.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. But
Yeah. So anyway, I finished the mochi box last night while we were watching Dimension 20 Coffin Run. That's how lava and water works, right? It just fully disappears.
it becomes stone.
Mario Sunshine style. Yeah, but it becomes like black stone.
That's what it's doing. See that?
I think it's just becoming wet stone.
Oh, then never mind, they're wrong. In this essay, I will talk about how they're wrong. Just kidding. I did not study rocks. Don't at me. No.
Oh god, we gotta move fast.
This is such a mean thing to do. Like, hey, I know you're big. Oh god. You're big chunky and you've got water and.
We lost that.
Ah.
Because we have to go under and there's no ground for us to go under anymore.
Oh shit. That sucks.
Yeah, so this is gonna be one that we gotta retry.
That makes sense. I always expect me to go fast when I'm full of water.
Also, that's the end of the level. Like, there's a thing that was just like spray seven
On
giant
7.
balls.
I'm like, this is
and
the
it's
one
like,
time.
There was literally only the one chance to do that. I guess you were supposed to put those out midair and like save that ground from.
Yeah. So we discovered everything, we just didn't get everything.
Yeah. And I think the last hidden Waddle Dee is behind that.
Yeah, it was over there to the right.
But yeah, we finished, or I finished the mochi box, and at some point, Bubbie like kicked it over. No, I like
kicked it over
gently
to me.
like poofed it over to Bubbie, and then she did a really hard kick, and it flew up at me. And then that turned into like a competition. At some point, everything was very quiet. And I went, "Give me your fucking money!" And I kicked it across the room, and it hit Bubbie's blinds. Yeah, curtains.
It's like, pop!
And it's a soft, empty box, so like it wasn't that disastrous, but it was just like, ooh, Jesus.
There's something so funny about.
We just started cracking the fuck up.
God.
Here, I'm just gonna try and run to the end and do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I don't think I think
nothing
honestly,
else to do other than being at the end in this level, so you're good.
Yeah. Especially with the drill power, I'm just.
Oh, you're true.
I'm out here.
You'll be out here.
Like, who's gonna hurt me?
Nobody.
Apparently that guy.
Despite you being underground.
Well, my spike got stuck on it.
Oh, no,
so this is what happens if you let them live.
Wouldn't know. Killed them so fast earlier.
It really did. He deserved it too.
Just that one dude that's posing by the tombstone. It's Kirby. Kirby with the gun.
Always with the gun.
You're gonna give me that. You and your children shall starve.
And perish.
I'll let you watch me eat your food, make you sad, and then kill you.
That sounds like somebody's kink.
Ugh.
Like a food dom. With a fin dom.
Ugh.
A feed dom.
Okay, that's enough. You took too many tries at it. You tried to guess your password and now you're locked out.
Ah, beans. I gotta call the system administrator.
No, you actually don't. It's holiday weekend. Leave them alone.
That happens to me at work once in a while, and it's the worst.
Yeah. I don't know if they're still doing it now, but the hospital I work at, they require you change your password, I think, every 90 days.
Most places.
But it gets super specific. It's like you can't use. Oh god, I was trying to like get into my like national PA registry number thing because, so we signed up for that thing while we were in school because you can sign up for it and have like a student account, and then once you're like a full-fledged PA, you're expected to switch over to like the real deal, which I did. Except what happens is when you're doing it as a student in school and they ask you, hey, where do you practice? You kind of scratch your head and go, well, nowhere because I'm a student. And so what your program says, oh, just put your home address. So put your home address.
Oh god, yeah, you told me about this.
So then I did that.
Monstrous.
And you know, forgot to change it. So cut to a few months of being a real SPA, I get our good friend Hale was like, yeah, I just was bored and browsing around and said like, fuck it, I'll look you up. And hey, your home address is just out there. And I was like, oh, interesting. That's terrible. So of course I reached out to that website and was like, because it was like this really specific like provider review website that I had never signed up for, by the way. I never signed up for this website. And so when I reached out to them and say, hey, what is going on? Number one, I never signed up for you. And number two, like, oh, so you gotta go back? Like, start here? Expect things to fly down?
I might have fucked this up again.
Shit. Oh no, here you go, here you go.
Yeah, I mean, I can save those. Yeah.
They only counted 2?
Well, because I think...
Oh, there you go, there you go. I was like...
Yeah, so I was...
So the ones back there you also have to do when you first get into the level.
Yeah, not when you first get into the level, when you...
Or first get into this area of the level.
Yeah.
This... panel? Whatever.
Where's this take me?
Out here.
Oh,
Out here.
that seems kind of silly. I guess if you just, like, opted to just, like, dig as fast as possible...
Yeah. Or if you're just like fed up.
I'm gonna have to take a third pass at this.
That's okay.
That feels bad, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, but that website, so I reached out and saying, hey, number one, I never signed up for you, so why the hell do I even have an account here? And number two, why do you have my home address? Why are you advertising this? And so they told me, well, we take information from that registry and automatically make accounts for providers. Not accounts, but like basically profiles for people to leave reviews on.
Right.
And we just take the information off that registry, so whatever you have on there is the information we use. And I was like, oh shit, okay. And then within like a week of that happening, I get a letter in the mail from some company that, like, I guess helps with tracking patient medications. Like, you know, what medications I have prescribed that they're taking or not taking or whatever. And so they sent me a letter in the mail for this patient who I looked at that name and I was like, I've never seen this patient before. Turns out I had, but the context was kind of specific. And it was like, hey, just letting you know, you prescribed this medication on this date and we're really concerned because it seems like the patient never went to pick it up. And I was like, okay. But why did this come to my fucking house? Like, why does this letter coming to my house with patient information? So I reached out to them too and I said, hey, what the actual fuck? And then they were like, we got your information off that registry. So I was like, okay, so clearly I just have to go to the fucking registry. So it has been changed. We're good now. But I just was like, are you kidding me? So, and it's so funny too because literally our program this week sent out an email saying, hey, it's come to our attention that a lot of people are having issues with their home address being on the registry. Go change that. So I was like, you know, I do appreciate you guys sending out this email, but also from now on, maybe...
It's also, like, wicked late, though.
Right, like, from now on, maybe don't have students put their home address, maybe use, like, the school's, like, P.O. box or something, and then it can be changed back over.
I feel like that makes the most sense.
I like, literally anything other than my house. Because it was kind of scary, like, for me to be like, my house address was just, like, out there, and, you know, knock on wood, but, like, I've been a decent provider, I think, so far. Actually, funny enough, today I had my first incident with a patient getting real pissed off with me. So far, it's been like people maybe getting like a little annoyed, or they're like, nah, you know, but like, I've had good patient interactions, or at least like neutral patient interactions up until now. Today's was like, this guy was over it, did not want to talk to me. I ruined his life and day. But like a guy like that, the way he reacted, I would not put him past him to do something with my home address.
Right.
And that's scary. Because before you're like, well, just be a better provider, whoever is listening.
Some people are just, like, going to be mad. No matter what you do.
This guy had a procedure done by us 5 years ago where we put in this thing called a loop device. It's a device that's used to monitor heart rate in patients who we just like cannot find some sort of arrhythmia, but we're like really concerned they do in fact have one because they are like they have some sort of thing where they're passing out or they're dizzy or like we just have high suspicion even though a like regular monitor that you wear for a little bit isn't picking it up. So we put this device on him. You're supposed to take it out after 3 years because the battery will just die after 3 years. He had it in 5 years ago and then never saw us in the office again. I have record that this guy was scheduled for 2 additional appointments after that one appointment he saw us for, and then again never again showed up. And then it's labeled as him not showing up. Not canceled, not rescheduled, nothing. He didn't show up. Whatever. So when I see him, I'm like, hey yo, by the way, about that device, and he was like, cool, can we take it out? And I was like, absolutely. You've had it in for longer than you need to, and at this point it's not doing you any harm, but it's also doing you no good, and the removal super easy. I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then he was like, well, because, you know, you guys put that in me 5 years ago and then did nothing about it. And I never heard from you guys again or something. And I was like, oh, you were scheduled for 2 more appointments. All I said. I did not say you didn't show up. I just said you were scheduled for 2 more appointments. Nothing else. And he like went, no. And I was like, okay, no worries. I mean, we'll figure it out. It's all good. And then he was like, it's just, you know, you put this in me and then never did anything with it. And I was like, we interrogated the device twice while you were here in the hospital. And at that point, he flipped his lid. He said I called him a liar. Like, this is why he doesn't come to the hospital, because all his doctors, all we ever do is call people liars. And that's bullshit. And at that point, I was like, I'm just going to walk away.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't call him a liar. You just called him ignorant, which is not inaccurate.
Like, I'm
ignorant of medicine.
Like, I wasn't trying to be an asshole. I just was like, you did have appointments scheduled. You know, whether they called him to tell him, hey, you have these appointments or not, like, that could have been missed. It happens. Where are the other 2?
Finally. Oh, no, I got them. They just, like, ding up.
Yeah, they took a little bit to ding. So I was like, I mean, you know, like, I even started to try to explain that to him. Like, oh, but, you know, they may not have called you, they may not have reached out. Something must have happened, you know, it's okay. But again, at that point, he was just far gone. Far gone. Also, by the way, this guy uses cocaine, so. Like, currently. You know, this is not me trying to throw shade on somebody who has a history. This is somebody who's doing it now.
God, you actually just remind me of an interaction recently.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I was talking to this guy who had a complaint with our company. Like, I work in a position where I handle, like, complaints. It sucks. But, you know, it's something that does... Okay, interesting. That only came up when we got the 10th.
Yeah.
So, like, doing what we're doing is actually what you're kind of supposed to be doing.
Okay.
Because this one came up just for finishing the level.
Yeah, which...
And then this one came up for...
But screw it. May as well knock these out.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was, like... helping handle his basically, like, he complained about, like, X and Y, and so we generated a letter saying, hey, X didn't happen, Y we just resolved. That's it, you know. And so he was like, okay, what about Z? You didn't write in about Z, motherfucker.
You didn't say anything about Z. Yeah. Oh, wow, it still caught it.
Oh god, it's way back.
Twice. You gotta send another one. There you go.
Oh, goodbye. That one went to hell.
There is something extremely adorable with these little homing bombs. Like, hee hee hee, I'm sentient. Like, no you're not, but you seem like it. Hee hee.
I see. Ooh, this is gonna be annoying.
Yeah, wow, jeez. Yeah, and then here it's you send out. There you go. You did it.
Okay, that's just the end.
You just have to. Blow up the
and so
portal.
I'm like, okay, well, Z, I'm gonna have to research if you want me to resolve it on this call. Yeah. And he got a little bit snippy, like, this seems to be taking a while. It's like, yeah, because you brought a new concern to my, like, I have not looked at your account besides to tell you, hey, we got your complaint, hey, we responded to your complaint. Like, I'm not actually resolving it, I'm just kind of the messenger in this situation.
Right.
So for you to expect me to have, like, the absolute, you know,
for you
lay of the land, it's kind of silly.
Right, for you to expect me to have a solution to a problem you never brought up until just now is silly.
He brought it up, but he didn't bring it up in his, like, official complaint letter.
That's what I'm saying. Like, didn't bring up until now is what I said. So it's like, well, how would I know? Like, how am I going to fix something for you if I didn't even know it was happening until this moment that you're talking about it? But yeah. Yeah, so, like, also, the same thing with this dude. Because, again, he got fed up with me, so he was like, I'm leaving. Take this IV fucking out of me, I'm leaving. And I was like, okay, fine. So I told the nurse, hey, dude wants to leave. You know, AMA against medical advice. And so I was like, okay. But I guess either my doctor or somebody must have convinced him, because when I looked at my note, or I looked at stuff later, he was still in that room in the hospital. So I was like, oh, okay, so not left. He was offered a heart catheterization because we were concerned about his heart, and he declined. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so this guy gets annoyed that I'm taking a while to research it. And I like reach out to my supervisor for assistance, because I'm like, fuck it, he might, like, be seeing something that I don't see, or he might have a little bit more knowledge. Because that's the other thing. Like, I came up through the customer service team, and his complaint was to do with something that happened on the default team. Default meaning, like, you were defaulting on your loan. Like, basically people who aren't paying on time, people who, like, are delinquent in their loans. Like, that's not a world I came up through. I was offered the opportunity to go into that world, and I was like, no, fuck that. That sounds miserable.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't have that knowledge set. Why would I? I didn't want it specifically.
You avoided it.
So, of course, like, me having to do research into that is going to take longer than somebody who came up through that world. I also specifically was, like, discouraged from going into that department because...
Now you want to eat that tomato.
Yeah. Our dad works for the same company in that team, and so it was like, hey, you know, maybe just avoid this being potentially called a...
conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest, thank you. By just, like, not participating in that world. So, yeah. I finally get a response for him, which is basically like, hey dude, tough shit, you're fighting us for $15, you're not gonna get it back. And so he's mad about it, and he's trying to like explain like 7 different things, and I said a thing that was going to lead into another thing, like, this is what I said previously, I've encountered new information that now indicates such and such, but he didn't let me get to that, and so I said, so I'm going to interrupt for a moment because I wasn't done talking. Interrupting people's fucking rude, whatever. And so he interrupts me again, and I said, sir, I would like to finish the statement that I started. And he interrupted me, and I went, so you're just not going to let me finish? And he was like, no, I'm going to let you finish. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I know so.
Yeah, I fucking thought so. You dumb son of a bitch.
Damn. Wait, before you do anything, next time.
Yeah, sorry, I came here to pick up a tomato, but you're right.
Also, wrong place. No tomato.
Yeah, my brain was off because I was thinking about that guy that made me so fucking mad.
Yeah.
Next time at Sushimi's house, we're gonna pick up a tomato from this beautiful shop because this is an adorable game and it helps with blood pressure. Like, that's science, bitch.
Okay.
Later.
Bye.
You gotta know you're in for something special. You gotta feel it in your bones. Oh, you're gonna find what you need all in time. If you're looking for it, na 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 na. If you're looking for